Proton E-Mars 7 intelligence that electrifies. Real. जमघट जहाँ रियल पार्टी पैक त्यहाँ नयाँ गुड नाइट फ्लैश और लिक्विड वेपोराइजर भन्दा 2 गुना बढी प्रभावशाली.
Proud to be associated with Kantipur News.
For the fourth consecutive day since the budget announcement, the House of Representatives has not held a session, effectively grinding legislative business to a halt. The cause? Continued obstruction by opposition parties who claim they are holding meetings to pave way. But as critical discussions remain stalled, concerns are growing that this is less about dialogue and more about deadlock. With the House held hostage and the nation waiting, is this a strategic stand by the opposition or a standoff that's doing more harm than good? We begin Kantipur News with the latest on this deepening parliament impasse. Good evening, I'm Sapsanamma. Let's begin with the headlines of the hour. Speaker Devraj Ghimire says Parliament all set to move forward legislative works once House obstructions end. Main opposition leader Dahal positive on paving way once probe commission is formed. Healthcare subsidies meant for the poor being exploited by the wealthy. Officials admit well-off people misuse benefits using fake certificates. US President Donald Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping confront weeks of brewing trade tensions in an hour-long call. Xi tells Trump to back down from trade measures. And Spain advances to UEFA Nations League final. A thrilling 5-4 victory over France sets up title clash with Portugal on Sunday. Speaker Devraj Ghimire has stated that bills are stalled due to obstructions in the operation of House of Representatives meetings. At a program organized today in Lalitpur, Ghimire said that while they are diligently working to turn bills into law, a situation has been created where the parliament itself cannot function.
हाम्रो गाउँघरतिर एउटा उखान छ म पछार्न त पछार्ने थिए तर मलाई खुट्टै टेक्न दिएन यस्ता थुप्रै विधेयकहरूलाई कानुनको रूप दिनको लागि हामी तल्लिन्छौं र त्यो गर्न सकिन्छ र गर्छौं तर संसदले चल्न नसक्ने परिस्थिति निर्माण भइरहेको छ संसदले नचलेको सन्दर्भमा संघीय निजामती सेवासँग सम्बन्धित ऐन पनि अड्केर बसेको छ विद्यालय शिक्षा सेवासँग सम्बन्धित विद्यालय शिक्षा ऐन बन्न नसकेर अड्किएको छ भने यस्तै गरी थुप्रै कुराहरू अड्किरहेका छन्.
Ghimire emphasized that everyone must play a role in ending the environment and circumstances that cause bills to get stuck in the parliament. Opposition parties have demanded the resignation of Home Minister Ramesh Lekhak in the National Assembly over visit visa case. However, unlike the lower house, the National Assembly has not faced any obstruction so far. In the past, any obstruction in the lower house would immediately impact the National Assembly. After widespread criticism of this practice, opposition parties have refrained from obstructing the upper house this time around. Nevertheless, members of parliament are still demanding the Home Minister's resignation.
गृह मन्त्री ज्यूले राजीनामा दिएर यो बाटो खुला गर्नुपर्छ जुन कि निष्पक्ष ढंगबाट छानबिन होस् उहाँ त्यो कुर्सीमा रहिरहँदासम्म सही ढंगबाट सत्य तथ्य ढंगबाट छानबिन हुन सक्दैन.
During the meeting, members of parliament also drew the government's attention to the spread of dengue infection, urging for its control. They have also urged the government to minimize damage from the onset of the monsoon season and to measure the quality of fruits and vegetables, citing excessive use of pesticides. National Assembly has also discussed the budget. While ruling party members have praised the budget during the discussion, the opposition has criticized it as conventional and incapable of improving the economy. Now, today's meeting of the lower house has been postponed without even commencing due to a lack of agreement between the ruling and opposition parties regarding the visit visa issue. Although the meeting was called for 1 p.m., opposition parties decided not to allow this session to proceed until an investigation committee was formed on the matter. Speaker Devraj Ghimire, with the consent of the parties, postponed the meeting until 1 p.m. Sunday. Earlier, a meeting of the opposition parties held at the Parliament building in Baneshwar had decided not to allow the session to operate until an investigation committee or a judicial commission was formed to look into the visit visa issue. Despite unilateral and bilateral meetings between the ruling parties and major opposition parties on reopening the parliament, no agreement was reached. Chairperson of CPN Maui Centre, Pushpa Kamal Dahal, stated that there is a possibility of reaching an agreement on operating the parliament by Sunday.
छानबिन प्रक्रिया अगाडि बढाउनेमा सहमति देखिया छ तर छानबिन अब अहिले संसदीय छानबिन समिति बनाएर जाने या पूर्व न्यायाधीश कसैकोमा न्यायिक समिति बनाएर छानबिन गर्ने या अर्को के गर्ने भन्ने विषयमा सहमति भएको छैन। अर्को कुरा चाहिँ अख्तियारमा यो चाहिँ भिजिट भिसा प्रकरणमा छानबिन सुरु भएको हुनाले त्यसको कुरो विशेष अदालतमा मुद्दा दर्ता नभएसम्म यता समिति बनाउन हुँदैन कि भन्ने तर्क पनि सत्तापक्षको छ।
Opposition parties are demanding the formation of an investigation commission to look into the visit visa issue covering the period from the enactment of the Labour Act 2064 to the tenure of the current Home Minister. The House of Representatives meetings have been continuously postponed due to visit visa dispute. Meetings scheduled for May 26th and June 4th were adjourned without even entering the agenda. The meetings on May 27, June 2nd, June 3rd and the 5th were also postponed with notice. Now, Nepal's healthcare subsidies meant for the poor are being exploited by the wealthy. Over 50 billion rupees is being invested by the government annually under Social Health Security Program to support low-income citizens, covering treatments from basic to critical illnesses. Yet, officials admit many well-off people misuse these benefits using fake poor certificates or by pressuring hospitals.
समस्या चाहिँ अलिकति सिफारिसमा पनि छ र कार्यान्वयनमा पनि छ किनभने हामीले भन्ने गरेका छौं कार्यक्रमको नाम नै विपन्न नागरिक हो। अब गाडी चढेर 5 तला 6 तलाको सिक्री लाएर म विपन्न हुँ भनेर कागज लिएर चाहिँ आउने हाम्रो नेपाली मानसिकता र अर्को त्यहाँ भएको निर्णयकर्ता जो चाहिँ मनाले चाहिँ अस्पतालको प्रमुख हुन्छ वा अन्य व्यक्ति जसले चाहिँ मनाले साइन गरेपछि निशुल्क पाइन्छ उहाँले पनि त्यो देख्दा देख्दै अब विविध कारणले सिफारिस गर्दिने ती दुवै कारणले गर्दा साच्चै जो गरिब छन् विपन्न छन् उनीहरूले पो सेवा पाछनन् कि भन्ने चाहिँ प्रश्न चाहिँ उठ्या छ।
Of those benefiting from the facility are people that drive luxury cars, wear gold jewelry, and still claim to be poor.
धनीलाई गरिब हो भनेर सिफारिस गर्दैन भन्ने विश्वासको आधारमा हामीले गर्छौं। गरिबलाई गरिब नै भने हो भन्ने आधारमा गर्छौं। उनीहरुको लवाई खवाई हेर्दा यो मान्छे तिर्न सक्ने मान्छे हो तै पनि छुट माग्न आयो। त्यही पनि त्यो मान्छेलाई हामीले भन्छौं प्रत्येक हप्तामा यहाँ हामीले छुटको सूचना चाहिँ निकाल्छौं। त्यहाँ गरिब भनेर नाम चाहिँ आउँछ नि फेरि हैन तपाईं लिनु होला भनेर भनिसक्यो भने अब लाज पचाएर हाँसेर हैन सर गर्दिनु एकपटकलाई भन्ने जस्तो हुन्छ। अब धनी मान्छेले पनि छुट चाहिँ लिइरहेको अवस्था छ।
अब यस्तो छ यसमा चाहिँ हामीले मेन भनेको चाहिँ विपन्नका लागि सिफारिस गर्ने भनेको स्थानीय निकाय हो। भनेको स्थानीय निकायले नि विपन्न भनेर सिफारिस गरिसकेपछि हामीले त्यसलाई रोक्न भनेर सक्दैनौँ किनकि हामीले अब को विपन्न छ को सम्पन्न छ भनेर त हामीलाई थाहा हुन्न हैन। तर हामीले चाहिँ यहाँ आउनेहरू चाहिँ जति विपन्नको सिफारिस लिएर आउनुहुन्छ उहाँलाई चाहिँ विपन्न मान्छौँ। तपाईले भने जस्तो अब कति चाहिँ हेर्दाखेरि अब विपन्न जस्तो नदेखिने पनि हुन्छन् तर अब स्थानीय निकायले नै विपन्न भनेर सिफारिस गरिसकेपछि हामीले रोक्ने भन्ने नै हुँदैन।
At the country's oldest beer hospital alone, up to 150,000 rupees is spent on a daily basis on such cases. The program funds treatment for 8 serious diseases, offering up to 400,000 rupees for kidney transplants. Last year, over 41,000 people received aid, up from 35,000 the year before. More than 4 billion rupees was spent on critical care last year. Besides this, funds support senior citizens and free treatment for abuse survivors as well. But hospitals do not publish details of the beneficiaries as required, limiting transparency. The ministry says preventing misuse could cut the 50 billion annual cost to 20 billion. High treatment costs push 500,000 people below the poverty line yearly. Misuse by the wealthy worsens the plight of the truly poor. As the rich take advantage of aid meant for the needy, genuine patients suffer. The growing frustration of the poor could soon spark social unrest. Will the leaders respond before it's too late? It is time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion. The question is, what do you think of the case against former Prime Minister Madhav Kumar Nepal? Your options are A, court has the final say, B, could be a political move, C, need to dig further, and D, prefer not to comment. Visit www.kantipurtv.com or www.ekantipur.com to share your opinion with us. Welcome back. Despite 15 years since the government announced plans to sell Nepal Telecom shares to the public, the sale has not yet happened. Since 2010-2011, almost every budget has included this plan, and the latest budget also aims to increase public ownership to 30%. Although Nepal Telecom has retained profit of 4.8 billion rupees, the government has not finalized how to conduct the sale, delaying the expected revenue for the state treasury. Clause 340 of the upcoming fiscal budget states that 22% of Nepal Telecom shares will be sold to the public, raising public ownership to 30%. However, similar announcements were made in the fiscal year 2010-11 with planned share of 25% and 2021-22 of 22%, but failed to do due to lack of clear modalities.
यसको मूल्याङ्कन गर्ने आधारहरू बनाउने हो कि त्यसको लागि समय लाग्छ त्यसले गर्दाखेरि शेयर बेच्ने कुरा आफैमा नराम्रो त होइन तर कसरी दिने कति % शेयर चाहिँ पब्लिकलाई चाहिँ दिने र त्यो शेयर दिइसके पछाडी पब्लिकको सहभागिता व्यवस्थापनमा कसरी गराउने भन्ने खालको कुराहरू पनि महत्त्वपूर्ण कुरा हुन्छन् र सँगसँगै अझ मैले त अझ अर्को के पनि देखेँ भने अस्तिको बजेटको बुँदामा रणनीतिक साझेदारीको लागि पनि अगाडि बढाउने भन्ने पनि कुरा छ अब पब्लिकलाई शेयर बेचेर रणनीतिक साझेदारी कसरी बढाउने हो त्यो कुरा स्पष्ट छैन.
The Ministry of Communications says the share price will reflect the secondary market and company finances, with current shares trading around 860 rupees.
नीतिमा मात्रै परिणत के गर्यो भने कि 30% सम्म यसलाई बढाउने. अब त्यसको फाइनान्शियल एनालाइसिस गरिन्छ. अन्तर्राष्ट्रिय मूल्य जुन छ कति शेयरको भावहरुमा छ नेपालका त्यस्तै किसिमका अरु संघ संस्थाहरुको कतिमा हुन्छ विभिन्न आधारहरु लिएर न्यूनतम मूल्य निर्धारण गर्ने हो. सोको आधारमा मात्रै जुन हुन्छ नि न्यूनतम यतिमा जुन छ नि बिक्री वितरण गर्ने भनेर व्यवस्था हुन्छ. त अहिले नै बिना डिटेल अध्ययनकै बिना जुन छ नि यसबारेमा केही भन्न सक्ने अवस्था छ.
Nepal Telecom became a company in 2003-2004, initially giving 5% shares to employees. In the fiscal year 2007-08, the government tried to increase public ownership to 10% by selling 5% more, but reached only 8.5% due to high pricing. Now the government holds 91.53% and the public 8.47% of the shares. That is all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.